Yes team, how are we? Happy Monday, Vito Shake at the ready. Just finished off our weekly tune-up. Again, these are the most powerful calls of the week in my opinion. They challenge me to actually be better, so every single day I'm constantly looking at, okay, what am I learning? How am I growing? How am I building? What can I extract? And how can I now teach off the back of that? So whether that's now things that are happening to me, podcasts I'm listening to, whether that's now conversations I'm currently having, and or inspiration that I've just taken from others on social media, I'm always looking at, okay, how can I now pull that into something that can be applicable and or something that I now know the guys and girls can go in action and they can go and implement. And this is obviously one of the key anchor points of my week because it forces me not just to read or not just to listen or not just to watch, but I have to listen, read and watch with intent so that I can now really start to understand how can I now put that into layman's terms and then obviously apply that. And there's inspiration absolutely everywhere if you give yourself the opportunity to be able to go and search for it. And as a byproduct, you will only continue to develop and improve how you can communicate and how you can convey your message and also how you can storytell as well, which is absolutely huge. And other big thing that I just wanted to highlight is just the power and the importance of just being able to build systems, being able to have habits and routines that just allow you to mitigate decision fatigue. Little things like my Vito Shake every single day that now allows me just to not think about what am I going to eat, what am I going to do. It's the same with training. I train at the same time every single morning, and I now know that I have exactly the same system and exactly the same strategy, which therefore allows me just to operate on autopilot and can give me a greater degree of like cognitive clarity and energy to place more focus and intention into other aspects and other areas, which is absolutely huge. So the more that I can try and standardize and systemize certain aspects and certain areas of my life that I don't have to then think about, the easier it becomes, and also allows me to obviously operate at a consistently higher level because my energy's better because of the little habits and anchors that I've got in place. I want you to think about, okay, what can I start to do to make my life simpler? Because you're busy, you're juggling so many balls and spinning so many plates, and you're only going to continue to have more and more and more that you need to do. So it's like, okay, what can I now start to do that allow me to remove decision fatigue, that allow me to create a system that just means that I can now pretty much run on autopilot and therefore will give me more time and energy to then be able to prioritize variables that are going to allow me to move forwards that require more intention at this moment in time. So call with the team just now, a couple of coaching calls, physio, and then we'll go and walk the pup. And then we have got a leadership day on Wednesday where myself and the team are going to be heading away. We're going to be taking you with us. So I just need to battle plan, strategize, and really just sit down and really map out the agenda, the intentions, where we're going, and just really make sure that we are ready to rock and roll. So it's going to be absolutely mega. So have an incredible morning, afternoon, evening, and I look forward to seeing you soon. And one of the biggest things that we've done and will continue to do since 2014 is double down, and I've said this from day dot, I've said this on so many tune-ups before, is doubling down on the customer fulfillment, is doubling down on the connection, is doubling down on the experience, is spending more time working on the current clients that you now currently have and improving that than actually this. Because in doing so, you create longevity, you create more fulfillment, and happier clients stay for longer. Happier clients have more success. Happier clients will then want to refer everybody else to you as a byproduct of that.
Yes team, hope we're good. Just finished up with the physio, something that I try to book in every couple of weeks, not because there's anything inherently wrong, but more so just for an MOT. I realized quite a few years ago that I would only ever get treatment once I was broken, and I then got to the point where I thought, well actually, how can I be far more proactive and just now book myself in more regularly just so I can now stay on top of things, which actually is going to now allow me to train more consistently, have more longevity, and then obviously hopefully perform at an even higher level. So session booked in at the incredible ESP. And again, just going over a few bits and bobs. I've had an issue with my hamstring for a little while, so just trying to keep on top of that. And then I always get quite a lot of pain, obviously, just through neck and back, predominantly probably from phone usage, sat on my laptop, and then obviously just from training away. So great just to obviously get that seen to and then booked back in again for next week. And I believe that like these are the small little anchor points that make such a big difference. So even for me, just going and spending an hour or two, a couple of days a week, sauna, steam room, jacuzzi, etc. Just being able to even just take some time away from my phone, which is something that I never really allowed myself the permission to do because I felt as though that I always had to be doing something. I needed to be adding, executing, implementing, instead of actually just being able to spend some time away, thinking, recalibrating, and resting. And I believe that it's your relationship with rest that will actually impact the trajectory of your business growth and obviously athletic performance as well, because I think the doing is incredibly easy, but being able to then look at what are the other metrics that are now going to allow you to perform even more consistently. And quite often overlooked because we just feel as though that we just need to keep pushing harder. So a couple of things that have been so integral for me, alongside obviously all the basics, which obviously will be the sleep, nourishment side of things, which are pretty standard for me. And again, everything that I now do is completely centered around how I want to feel, and then ultimately give myself the position to be able to turn up for the coaches that we now work alongside to my highest possible level. Otherwise, I'm doing them a disservice, and that as a byproduct is then obviously going to be having a ripple effect down to their clients. So everything I do is centered around obviously me trying to get the best out of me, but then obviously I start with the thought process, which is how do I now ensure that I can provide the best for those guys and girls, most importantly, which actually almost holds me to a higher level of accountability, which I found has worked incredibly well for me. So home, a little bit of work to do, go and walk the dog, some salmon pasta for dinner, which is a personal favourite, some good quality sleep, a run in the morning, and then a full day of calls with the high performance coach guys and girls. Yes team, how are we? Happy Wednesday. Currently with the captain, just about to head into a hotel, grab some lunch, a sauna, steam room, and also jacuzzi with two of our incredible high performance coaches who have been inside the program for the last 3 years. On a Wednesday, I love the opportunity to go and connect, catch up, spend some time with our people, or alternatively have a little bit more of a Joe day. One of the biggest challenges that I used to have was every single Wednesday I used to feel pretty overwhelmed, burnt out and fatigued, and I ended up procrastinating and getting frustrated with myself because on a Monday, Tuesday I would end up working pretty relentlessly in terms of coaching and delivery, and then I get into a Wednesday and I would feel as though that I've got so much to do, so much to action, so much to work on, which is still very much the case now. However, I would end up then just basically procrastinating, feeling overwhelmed, and then not doing the work just because my energy wasn't where it needed to be, because I just obviously had given so much over the course of Monday, Tuesday. So now the way in which I typically will structure and run things is Monday, Tuesday are obviously heavy delivery days. Wednesday is much more of a kind of free flow Joe kind of day where I'll go and do something fun. We'll train, we'll go have some breakfast. I might do 1 or 2 hours of like working on the business, but typically it's a day actually just taking a step away from delivery, so that then going into Thursday, Friday, I recalibrate, energy is better. I then have a greater degree of consistency in terms of workload. Productivity is obviously better, and yeah, I'm better overall. So doing that for me has been so powerful. Instead of just trying to operate from this kind of pedal to the metal, let's just stay in gear 5 all of the time, just understanding where's my energy high, where's my energy low, and then being able to compartmentalize and structure your days and your weeks in accordance with that can be so incredibly powerful, especially like I say when you're trying to not just be occasionally great, but be consistently good, which is exactly now what we're looking for. And even mentally, I felt so much better for it. So looking forward to taking you in, give you a little insight and show you what we're up to. We've now started to develop like, how do we improve you as a coach, how do we improve you in business, how do we improve you in all these different areas. So it's like now how do we then get back to like now the personal side, so now looking at putting interventions and calls and certain things in place where I'm going to come back in and I'll do far more of the body comp stuff and like the nutritional stuff, because it's like you just grow and you evolve and it just then changes, but you realise that that's the fundamental. Quite often it gets overlooked, you know. There's a lot of people that are incredibly like autonomous, and there's a lot of people that the reason we came away from it was because then a lot of people were just asking us about business, and a lot of people then having problems with coaching, and then it was like even then personal. So then it's like when you're trying to deal with then all these different, which is a bit like you guys, so like you're speaking to somebody about this personal problem, but it's not really the nutritional stuff. Do you know what I mean? Then you end up going down a rabbit hole of all this stuff and actually not the nutritional stuff. You know, and then you end up then focusing on that, and then you almost lose a little bit of focus. And then your messaging, your marketing goes, actually I really like talking about this stuff, and then you almost stop talking about that stuff. So it really just depends on the person, and some people are incredibly bothered about it, some people not that bothered. They're not bothered about it, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Probably now I'm starting to look at more like strategic leadership, and then starting to understand, obviously like I've been in obviously the operational for so long, the doing so much, and now it's actually just being able to relinquish control, place trust, look at how am I now supporting the team, aka the coaching team, and then how am I understanding, well, okay, where do I now need to place my time and energy, what are my specific roles and responsibilities within the business, and then obviously how am I supporting the team within their roles and responsibilities within the business, and how am I then giving them the platform, most importantly. Other things, yeah, like having to relinquish control and trust other people. Culture has been massive, and then obviously then letting them build and nurture obviously relationships with everybody, and then understanding the dynamics, because some people get on better with other people get better with some people. So there's a whole host of like differing moving parts. The financial, you know, like you go from it's just now me to now you've got 5 full-time salaries, you know, which is a huge fucking identity shift, because it's now not just me, which then brings a whole new way. And then obviously their fulfillment, their freedom, their fun, where do they see themselves, how is what they're currently doing serving their longer term vision within the company, how are they then getting better, and how are they then being like, how are they allowing themselves the opportunity to be upskilled. So it's just probably more from less operational to more strategic, but then I still want to be in the operational because I still enjoy the day to day. So I'm still doing a lot of the things that I've always done. Yes team, how are we? Welcome to the incredible sunny or not so sunny afternoon. We've got the media man, Mr. Aaron Crow, and our head of athletic performance, Mr. Dan Reeve, in the back. We've got Ben, Jen, and Troy heading out. We've been on a ferry for the last half an hour or so we're taking the entire coaching team away for 24 hours for us to now be able to run a leadership day. There's been a lot of change in the high performance coach over the last year or so, and it's our consistent quest to be the very best that we can now possibly be, and continue to provide the very best coaching experience for our coaches, so we can now raise and elevate the standards of the fitness industry. And in doing so, we obviously spend so much time working in that we obviously now wanted to be able to get away and spend a little bit of time working on. So we are hiring a house. We're going to be locking ourselves away, and we're just going to be battle planning and strategizing where we're going, what we're building, what we're creating, what is it we now need to improve upon in order for us to now be able to improve the client fulfillment, the customer experience, the results that we're now currently getting, and how we're now developing and growing in each individual role, and aligning ourselves obviously to the overarching mission that we now have. So being able to obviously pull yourself away from the business and actually take a bird's eye view approach can be so powerful, because it actually allows you to gain perspective, allows you to gain clarity, and allows you to understand what are the pieces of chessboard that I now know that I need to move in order for us to now be to make the boat go faster, and in order for us to now be to really develop, grow, and improve what it is that we're now looking to do. So working in is incredible, but just now being able to pull yourself out of your normal environment and then actually spend a little bit of time working on, so you can get really clear over where you were, where you are, and where you're going. I think hindsight, insight, foresight is going to be so incredibly powerful for the growth, and also for the trajectory and the direction that you're now heading in. So 20 minutes, half an hour, I'm going to get back in the car, I believe, to the destination, and we look forward to give you a little insight further then.